Hi guys, thanks for joining me on the Solstice Meadery. Today we're going to do what I've been promising for a good month now, and that's make the McMead. That's right, we're going to go ahead and make a mead out of McDonald's honey. Now, this is not a complicated recipe at all, really. It's your honey, your water, and your yeast. What makes this so difficult is the gathering of the ingredients. So typically, when you go to a store, you can only get two or three at a time, right? So you go in the McDonald's and you ask for it, and you get two or three, maybe four at a time. And they're only half-ounce packets. So in order to do that, you got to go to McDonald's a lot. I will say that I've gone over 4 states: Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas to get these. And it has taken me a while to do it. And I've done some research. I've looked out there. I don't see where anyone has done a McMead before. If you have, I would love for you to put the comments in below and let me know how yours turned out, because I see there was one thread that I found where somebody had started it. Their dog ate half their honey, and the guy never really posted again. Not really. There's been attempts, but no one has actually done it. So today we're going to go ahead and do it. It's a really simple recipe. And what I have here, let's go ahead and take a look. That, my friends, right here is 299 packets of McDonald's honey. At a half ounce a piece, that's 149 and a half ounces, or just under 9.5 pounds of honey. So that's what we have to work with today. And what I'm going to go ahead and do, so everything you see here has been sterilized. The knife, the spoon, the cylinder, everything's been sterilized except for the honey. What I've done already is I've taken the honey, put it in approximately 100-degree soapy water, got it in there, and got them all washed and cleaned. They've been washed that way. Now what I'm going to do, I've got a bucket back here with some sanitization water, sanitized water with some star sand in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out what I figure I'm going to do. I have got here a DYW10. It's a Premier Cuvée champagne yeast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put about half of this. I'm going to start getting it rehydrated in my spring water. I'm going to get that started. Then I'm going to go ahead and take 85, because I figure I'm going to have some that's maybe left behind in here. I'm going to take about 85 of these, and I'm going to dump them into the sanitization bucket. I'm going to let them sit. That way the packets are sanitized. Once that's done, I'm going to go and take some of the spring water here, and I'm going to go ahead and get it on the stove, and I'm going to heat it up. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to come back with that water, and I'm going to put it in the bucket here. And once I get it in the bucket, take a knife, take a packet, cut, crush, toss. And I'm going to keep doing that with, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 10 of them to start with. And I'm going to get that mixed in real good. And I'm going to use a spoon, and I'm going to look at them, and I'm going to see what they look like. If they look clean, I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. I'm going to dump them into a bucket I got back over here. And I'm going to keep doing that until I have all of them mixed into that warm water. We're then going to add the rest of the spring water back to bring the temperature down and give us a full gallon of water to our honey. We're then going to go ahead and take a reading with our hydrometer. Once we've got that reading taken care of, we're going to go ahead and take some notes to make sure that we get this taken care of, right? And then we're going to go ahead and put that back into the bucket. I've got some tequila back here that I use for my airlock here. And the reason I do that, a lot of people use vodka or tequila, whichever. Basically, you just want to use a fairly tasteless alcohol, something that doesn't have a lot of taste of its own, in case you get what they call suckback, is where the bucket, for whatever reason, actually sucks air in instead of pushing carbon dioxide out, and it'll actually pull this alcohol into your bucket. If it's tequila or whatever, all you're doing is minutely raising the ABV. It's not going to be a problem. But the reason I do that, and the reason most people do that, is because while water in your airlock will stop your larger bugs, ants or I guess roaches or whatever, right, from crawling in, the water will stop them. Water does not stop any type of bacteria or an infection of any kind. It doesn't stop it from going in. However, the alcohol will. So I'm going to go ahead and use that for my airlock. Get that situated before I continue so it does not fall. There we go. We're going to do that, and then we're going to take some notes. Again, we're going to keep taking notes throughout this to make sure that we have everything taken care of. We're then going to take some handy dandy masking tape, and we're going to go ahead and label this, slap it on the bucket, and it's going to sit somewhere back here. And for each of the videos, we're going to be able to watch what's happening with each of the brews that I do. And then as we go to racking and then eventually to bottling, I'll have some more surprises in store for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the camera rolling. And I may speed up this process so that you can see what I'm doing, but it's going to be super fast, or I may cut it. I don't know. We'll find out. But here we go. Let's do this. So I'm going to take about half of the, this is good for 5 gallons. I'm going to do about half, and the reason I do this is to make sure that I have a good solid start. Put about 4 ounces of water into here. And I'm not going to measure. I'm going to do, it's going to be a rough estimate of about half, slightly less than half, whatever. I'm going to make sure that I rip straight across. That way it is easier for me to, if I can rip straight across, I may have to get it started a little bit. There we go. The reason I want to do that, I don't want to rip this package wide open because I'm going to use that other half on another mead that I'm going to do. And by the way, so while I'm doing this, I'll explain. So I've got 299 packets here, right? 299 packets. That, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use about 80, which is going to be roughly 2.5 pounds of honey. I'm using a champagne, 18% tolerance. So I'm going to be able to ferment that completely dry. And when that goes dry, that should give me about a 12% alcohol by volume. Now, if you're playing along at home and you would say, wait, that doesn't sound right, that should be closer to about 10.5 to 11% based on my calculation. Well, you would be right if you're using the simplified version of the calculation. I'm using a slightly more advanced version of the calculation, which is OG minus FG times, what, 131 point whatever. Anyway, it's for higher alcohol by volume beverages. The alternate or more advanced calculation actually does a better job of properly getting to the right ABV. Now all I'm doing here is I'm stirring this up. I'm allowing that yeast to get rehydrated, kind of wake up before we get started playing. I'm gonna let these guys. I'm just gonna set that aside. We're done. I'm gonna go ahead and count out 80 and stick them in the sanitization bucket, and then I'm gonna get the water boiling, and I'm probably gonna fast forward this and or cut it. We'll be back. And done. 85 in the bucket, getting swished around, make sure they get sanitized, so they're not bringing any nasty friends to the party. Now, I will go ahead and stop the video and cut the next part out because I'm literally just going to be warming up the water that we have to approximately 100 degrees while we let these guys get active. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video. I'm going to clean this up and get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and save this stuff for the next batch that I do, which I actually think, so I have enough here that I can actually do 2 1-gallon ferment to dry at about a 12% alcohol by volume. And then I still have enough to back sweeten to a proper McDonald's sweetness for both of them. And I'm going to do, so what I'm going to do, one standard plain Jane McMead, right? It's just going to be straight honey. The next one though, I think I'm going to go to McDonald's. And by the way, I have not paid for a single one of these. I have 299. I had 302. But during the cleaning process, I discovered 3 of them that had been breached. They've been broken open slightly. And by the way, if you're playing along at home, pro tip, if these are sealed and ready to go and good, they float in water. If they have any kind of hole at all, because I don't know if you can see it, you probably can't, but there actually is a very small air bubble in here, and so they will float. So if they do not float, if they wind up at the bottom of your bucket while you're trying to clean them, there's a hole somewhere and you can't use that one. So I found 3 additional ones as I was scrubbing all of these that had holes in them, so I only have 299. That is not to say those were the only ones I found, Wounded Warriors, during the process. I had to throw away quite a few over the months as I was bringing them home, because I realized that like the bag had, it was leaking into the bag, and I had to go and wash them immediately and figure out which one was bad. So if you're doing this at home, please be careful. Don't do like I did and put them in your beanie hat, because it makes an absolute mess when honey gets into that. It's just not good. So I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the way for now so that we can finish working with what we got. I'm going to go heat up some water, and I'll be back, guys. And we're back, guys. So I went ahead and cut out the whole heating the water and all that good stuff. We've still got our yeast hydrating here. I already poured all the water into here. I'd gotten a little hot for my liking. We're currently sitting at about 110, which is good to go. I'm fine with that. So what I'm going to start doing here is taking the knife, pull them out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take them. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? I am going to take them and so I'm going to grab them, put them here, give them a quick pat dry, and then I'm going to cut them, crush them, throw them in between 5 and 10 at a time. Take a spoon, stir the crap out of it, try to get all that honey out. I'm then going to use the spoon and the knife to check them and make sure I've got as much honey as I can. They've been sitting in hot water, so they should be nice and fluid. Once they get in here, again, that water should wash the honey out of the packages. If I feel they're clean enough, I'll go ahead and toss them into this bucket. Once that's done, we'll take the rest of the water, we'll get it in there, give it a good stir. I was going to try to use the wine whip for this, but this is not going to, there's just not going to be enough in there for the whip to really be used effectively. I'm afraid it's going to splash out. So we're not going to do that. I've taken the liberty of making up some masking tape to put on this so that I can label it and have it ready to go. Basically, I just got to label McMead. I've got a spot for an OG. I've got a spot for a final gravity. I've put how many packets I've put in here. Obviously, the McMead. I would normally put like the type of honey that I put in and what it was, right? So if it was going to be a capsicumel or a banana mead, which I'm going to do here soon, shortly. I'm going to do both of those. So look for those videos. But I put a McMead, obviously it's the McDonald's honey. I put the number of packets, the rough amount is for roughly 2.5 pounds of honey, and then an ABV for when it's done. And this tape is just going to go from onto here. And then when we're ready to rack, I'll just take that tape off and stick it on the glass carboys somewhere down there. And that way, and it'll sit back here for all my other videos. We get to see it slowly clearing as we take additional videos of other stuff that we're doing. And then we'll eventually get to bottling. And when we get to bottling, I'm going to have a special treat for you guys. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So let's get started. This again, I will probably fast forward through this. You'll see me doing everything, but it'll be at supersonic speed. I may just cut it. It's kind of boring. So it may be funny to watch me do it once in super speed. So we'll see. Here we go. Hey guys, so I had to cut the video. It was taking too damn long, but I went ahead and waited for this to cool down because I was using hot water to help get the honey out of those packets. So I've let this cool down a bit for quite some time. It's been maybe an hour now, actually, and we are down to just above room temperature, about 74 degrees, which is good to go. And it looks like I'm starting to get some foam on top here. My little beasties are waking up. And from here out, it's a pretty simple procedure. We're just simply gonna pitch, give it a stir, get a reading, put a top on it. We're done. That's it. We're going to go ahead and grab and right now I don't care about putting bubbles in there. Hasn't started fermenting yet, so it's just more aeration. It's fine by me. If I was later on when I'm trying to take a reading just to check it, I would be very careful. I would want to squeeze first, then dip down, and then draw up, so as not to add any additional oxygen that I didn't have to. So we'll set that down. Oh, and we are going to go ahead and grab our sterilized and make sure that it does not. There we go. We're gonna give it a spin, make sure there's no bubbles attaching to it. Trying to give it an off reading, and then we're gonna get down here on its level. There are some bubbles creeping around. We can get the specific gravity reading, and looks like we are at, we'll call it 1082, which is almost exactly where I expected to be. I was expecting it to be 1087. So 1082 is not bad. So we're going to go ahead and put 1.082. Go and get that into some all that back in there. Give it one last stir. In the next 12 to 24 hours, I expect this to be bubbling quite nice. Go ahead and get everything back into sterilization. I'm going to take the lid. And we want to make sure that this is directly over. So what's going to happen, I've already taken the liberty of adding my alcohol to my block. I'm going to make sure that's on nice and tight. If this were in here, we just need to be careful when we're doing this, that that airlock's going to hit this handle. So we're going to place this down real good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside, and once that airlock is going real good tomorrow I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take the spoon and I'm going to go ahead and give it another stir. And I'll probably do that for the next couple of days. What that's doing is that's because it's still in the very early stages of fermentation. It's going to go ahead and add some more oxygen to allow the little beasties to do their thing. But it's also it's going to go ahead and as they are starting to work, they are already releasing carbon dioxide and fusel alcohols, and it's going to help release those from. It's going to essentially be acting like a degassing. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now, last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this and I'm going to dip the tip. Just to sterilize that. And then we're going to make sure that this is well and tightly pushed down in there. We don't want that to come off. Now these types of buckets tend to, that's why you saw me constantly pressing down this, they tend to leak around the edges. So this may not necessarily bubble right away, may not bubble at all ever, and that's okay. What we want to say, you will know if it's fermenting after 12-24 hours. You will have a smell coming out, and it is an amazing yet off-putting smell at the same time. It's nothing. There's nothing like it you'll ever have, and but it'll be very obvious that it's actually doing its thing. But I am trying to make sure that I get this as tightly as possible, in the hopes that I do get some bubbles coming out of the airlock here. That's it, folks. That is a McMead. It is in the bucket and fermenting. We're going to take our fancy label here, and we are going to, you know what, I'm going to put it right there. That's it, folks. I want to thank you for joining me for this episode. Please like and subscribe to the video if you can. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, you see I was going to hit that. I'm not going to want to use that handle. But yeah, please like and subscribe to the video. If you enjoyed, I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. In my next upcoming videos, I'm going to go ahead and do a banana mead. Some friends of mine got me some bananas. And they heard that I was going to start making some mead, and they want me to make a banana mead for them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for them next. We're going to go and do an apple McMead, a McApple after that. So stay with us. Check again, subscribe, like the video so you're notified of my upcoming content, and we'll see you next time. Appreciate it.